you to hear me right. This is a video that I believe every American needs to see. It's Nassau County, and it is so sad. A lot of people do not understand what police officers truly get away with. This is a video that is dedicated, and it's like 2004, 2023, 2024, 2025, 2026 cases that police officers have committed deaths, murders, drunk driving, killings, and not be held accountable whatsoever. I'm talking over and over and over. This video is dedicated to give you the insight of what they get away. Check, and a lot of you don't even know. Like if they're in the police chase, I'll give you an example. If they are in a police chase and they slam into your car because they're driving and chasing somebody, did you know that their insurance don't cover you? They don't have to pay for a dime. If they total your car out, your insurance has to take care of it. You're out of luck. I mean, you got to look into this stuff, but this is going to blow you away. I hope you're ready. Ring that bell because I'm bringing you some of the top-notch stuff right now. It's going to blow you away.
This is one of the most important videos I've ever uploaded to my channel. Viewer discretion is advised.
Me too.
One single person was held accountable for any misconduct. It's appalling. It's appalling. If Danny did that to someone, he would have been held accountable, but because he's not a cop.
He made me perform oral sex on him. This is a system, like they're leaving this man alone in this room to do what he's doing to me.
No one had 1 day off. No one was suspended for a half a second. Business as usual.
The other driver was a police officer.
PBA representative driving the officer away from the scene.
I was basically told to change my findings on that, and I refused. The one quote that really stuck with me was, "A decision has been made to keep internal affairs weak."
No other individual would get the same type of deference that this officer got at that seat.
I just don't think they did their job, and I think all of them should pay for it.
So imagine your child. You're driving your car and a police officer off duty is drunk and he's drinking in the car, hits your car and puts your child in the hospital, fighting for his life. And in some cases, some lives were lost in that car accident, where another police officer drives up, picks him up, takes him to the hospital, and leaves you guys laying out there waiting for the ambulance and all that to pick you up. Think about that. Think about that.
In today's video, we are going to be taking a look at a disturbing documentary done by my local newspaper here on Long Island, Newsday, where they expose the terrifying lack of accountability here on Long Island when it comes to law enforcement, whereas we've seen thugs with badges like Police Union President Lou Civillo act with impunity. I have to tell you that this documentary is hard to watch, but I'm going to be watching it with you and giving my thoughts. Please take a second to hit the like button and share this video anywhere you can on social media.
I'm watching it right with you guys.
Every single freedom-loving American needs to see this.
It is absolutely the worst day of my life. I hope I never experience anything even remotely like it ever again.
On the afternoon of
Look at
August
that
10th,
car,
2020, an off-duty Suffolk County police officer critically injured 2-year-old Reardon Kavoris.
For 48 hours, I didn't know if he would ever wake up.
Reardon Kavoris' story is one of 8 cases that Newsday uncovered, showing Nassau and Suffolk police imposed little or no discipline on officers in cases involving serious injuries or deaths.
There were things out of the ordinary about how the whole case was handled. Things with no explanation.
Newsday documented the toll. 4 people dead.
There's no reason he should have died. No reason.
and 4 people seriously injured.
I should have been able to have at least one person I could have depended on.
Survivors and families haunted by knowing that actions or inactions by members of Long Island's 2 major police forces,
and 2 of the highest paid police forces in the country,
left them with physical and emotional scars. This is Newsday's investigation, Inside Internal Affairs.
And I screamed, like, what do you mean Danny died? How could Danny die?
And she told me that Dana was dead.
Daniel McDonnell and Daynell Simmons were mentally impaired men who stopped breathing and died after struggles with Suffolk County Police.
Wow.
As far as you're aware, what was the police investigation into what happened?
What investigation?
What investigation is right? Because we all know that they investigate themselves and find no wrongdoing, which is exactly why I advocate for a civilian review board, but not just any civilian review board, a civilian review board that has subpoena powers and disciplinary powers in order to hold power to account.
Officers arrested McDonnell on a misdemeanor charge. He was calm and cooperated with police. A sergeant refused to give McDonnell the medications he used to control bipolar disorder. He had a psychiatric episode.
He told them from the beginning that he struggles with bipolar disorder and he needs medications.
Medication was brought. He asked for it. The mother brought it in. How do you not provide it?
So, chat, police officers cannot make decisions denying you of your medication. They're not doctors. They have to follow the doctor's orders, and if that person has medication that is in his name by law, they have to give it to him. That's why they have nurses in these places. That's why they have protocols with thousands and thousands of people that are on different types of medications, and some of them are very life-threatening, especially if they've been on it for a while. But again, probably didn't want to do anything for this guy because he's probably mad at him, and you know, he's hard to deal with, obviously. And then don't be a public servant. These cops don't look at themselves as public servants. They look at themselves as like SWAT or you know, just guys that are out there to you know, bust people, and they don't think of themselves as servants. They just don't. They don't have a servant's attitude. They don't come up, you know, how can we help you? You know, is there something we can do to better your day? I know maybe you're having a bad day. No, nothing like that. It's always stand there, don't talk, shut up. You're under investigation. They know nothing about investigating stuff. Nothing.
13 officers joined in extracting McDonnell from a cell and in subduing him, often chest down in a position that risked suffocation.
13 or 14 individuals for one person who was in a holding cell?
Because they're cowards. They're cowards. They operate like a gang. Gangs jump people. Law enforcement officers who act like gang members jump people. It's really simple.
Never wanted to, nor have I still to this day seen the pictures, and I don't want to. I mean, there was a footprint on Danny's back.
Oh. Can you imagine,
Daynell
Chad?
Simmons was a son and a brother. He was autistic and lived in a group home.
He was severely speech delayed, where he could only answer with one-word sentences. What happened that night, everyone in our facility had funnel cake. For some reason, they did not want to give Daynell the piece of funnel cake. This kid that loves to eat, and he had an episode. He was upset.
3 Suffolk officers arrived to take Simmons to the hospital. An officer mentioned handcuffs. Simmons ran into another room. The officers chased and started a struggle to handcuff him behind his back.
God. He didn't see them as someone that was there to help him.
Why would he? Why would he? They're probably rude, unprofessional, like we've seen in my videos and other videos online. Why would anybody feel safe in that situation, especially somebody who has special needs and has a disorder? It doesn't make any sense. But yet law enforcement continue with these brutish tactics and lack of accountability.
After he was handcuffed, the officers pinned Simmons to the floor for an estimated 9 minutes. Often in a position that risked suffocation. The medical examiner cited chest compression during a violent struggle.
Officers placed their body weight on top of him for such a prolonged amount of time, that clearly resulted in his death. The medical examiner confirmed this.
Internal Affairs filed no disciplinary charges against the officers. The police department refused to give Newsday the case report.
Think about that for a minute. They refused to give any police reports or investigation reports as a result of this incident. The death was ruled a homicide, but yet no one's been fired or went to jail. It is infuriating that this is happening, especially here in my home county.
But lawsuit testimony provided a glimpse into the IA investigation. An officer who pressed her weight on Simmons' torso after he was handcuffed behind his back testified that she was never interviewed for the departmental probe. In the McDonald case, a homicide detective found no evidence of criminal wrongdoing after interviewing the officers who helped subdue McDonald. Many of the interviews lasted for 5 minutes or less, according to his notes.
The investigation was completely shoddy. Period, point blank.
The Suffolk Internal Affairs investigation upheld 10 counts of wrongdoing, but Internal Affairs missed the 18-month deadline for filing disciplinary charges. There was no punishment.
Why would that take so long to complete an internal affairs investigation?
I can't really give you a compelling answer for that. Unit was swamped, really without...
We're talking about lives. We're talking about responsibilities. You were swamped. Ain't that investigation part of you being swamped? Or it wasn't important? They know what they're doing.
An influx of personnel. It was an uphill climb.
You just heard the former commander of Internal Affairs right here in this county say that he was understaffed, but yet the Suffolk County Police Department almost have $1 billion yearly budget. $1 billion, and they can't fund internal affairs?
What?
Not one single person was held accountable for
I've never
any
heard of that type of budget before.
misconduct. It's appalling.
$1
It's appalling.
billion budget.
If Danny did that to someone, he would have been held accountable. But because he's not a cop.
No one had one day off. No one was suspended for a half a second. Business as usual.
God.
It's just the family that's left to pick up the pieces.
Internal Affairs, or IA, is a unit within most police departments that is responsible for investigating police misconduct. In other words, IA is supposed to police the police. Michael Caldarelli commanded Suffolk's Internal Affairs Unit from 2012 to 2014.
I made sergeant, then I made lieutenant, and I went to Internal Affairs as an investigator.
In Newsday interviews, he said he was ordered to reform Internal Affairs and wound up transferred to a career-ending assignment when he tried to do just that.
I guess what struck me most about it was that it was an assignment with no downtime whatsoever. You always had stuff to do. The unit did not have adequate staff. Cases were not getting done in a timely fashion. And the one quote that really stuck with me was, "A decision has been made to keep Internal Affairs weak."
Caldarelli was the only present or former Suffolk or NASA police official willing to publicly discuss any of Newsday's 8 case histories. NASA Commissioner Patrick Ryder declined interview requests.
The infamous Nassau County Police Commissioner Patrick Psycho Ryder, who was arrested for official misconduct, perjury, and police brutality, which we exposed using our 14-foot LED billboard truck right in front of his residence. It doesn't shock me that he declined to comment.
Suffolk Commissioner Rodney Harrison declined or did not respond to interview requests. The officers named in Inside Internal Affairs case histories either declined to speak on the record or did not respond to interview requests.
They say that this police department not only has one of the biggest budgets, right? But they are known to be the most one of the most dirtiest. We're talking case after case after case after case. The officers always come out justified. If it's a shooting, if it's hands-on, a wreck, whatever it is, whatever the officers involved, they're always cleared, and that's just, there's no reality in that. They're gonna make mistakes. And you mean to tell me that not one officer is that's just saying that you have a perfect record? No way. No way.
This one reason right here. Right? You'll see it comes down past my eye a little bit.
Ooh.
And then goes all the way to like back here. Like right here where there's another soft spot.
Julia Scott suffered traumatic brain injury in a car crash caused by off-duty Suffolk officer Weldon Drayton. Drayton had been drinking that day.
Would you like to know what Weldon Drayton's punishment
Yes,
was?
of course. I definitely would.
He lost 4 days
What?
of sick and vacation time.
What?
That's it? Wow.
4 days, ladies and gentlemen. Look at the damage he caused to this man while he was drinking and driving. And he got 4 days.
Oh, it's racing right now. This is where he was in his friend's car.
Man.
Right. Every time I go to that corner,
I hope he got a lawsuit.
heart-wrenching.
Big one. That guy should be in jail.
I have to go that way.
Just a block from her house, Isabel Scott found her son critically injured.
The sight that I seen was like unbelievable. I never seen nothing like that in my life. His whole scalp was in front of his face. All this was hanging in his face. And I didn't want to alert him, so I just took my hand and I rubbed it back. This part just rubbed it back. And it's just calm down. You know, it's going to be okay. The ambulance is coming. You're going to be okay. And he passed out.
Drayton, a top DWI officer at the time, had been drinking at local bars. Whether he was intoxicated will never be known.
Wow.
First, a Suffolk Police Union delegate drove Drayton away from the scene to a hospital.
This is the same Suffolk Police Union that is now being led by Lou Civillo, the thug with the badge who unlawfully arrested me. This is what they do, and that's my opinion based on the evidence that we're looking at right now.
In effect, buying time for any alcohol in his system to dissipate. When a police supervisor finally asked Drayton to submit to a breath test, Drayton refused. Police issued a $150 ticket. Later, an internal affairs investigation docked him 4 days' pay.
Do you think the police department should have given him a severe discipline?
Absolutely.
Oh, yes.
The inside internal affairs case histories often revealed the forces that blocked police discipline. A police union contract spared Officer Michael Althouse after his actions led to a drunken driving death. Althouse failed to subject Peter Fedden, a deli owner who gave discounted food to police officers, to sobriety testing after a high-speed crash. Instead, Althouse drove Fedden home in a police car. Within minutes, Fedden got the keys to his mother's car, drove at 100 miles per hour, and crashed again, this time fatally, into a brick wall.
What?
His blood alcohol level was almost twice the legal limit for driving. Internal Affairs substantiated a misconduct charge and called for Althouse to be fired. But Althouse stopped the police commissioner from taking any action, as allowed by the contract. An arbitrator kept him on the job.
It's a never-ending circle of corruption and conflicts. Money flows from the Suffolk County PBA to the candidates' pockets.
That was
candidates become the legislators, and they negotiate the contracts that benefit the PBA.
In the case of cab driver Thomas Morahan, top brass rejected an internal affairs finding of misconduct by 2 sergeants. Off-duty NASA officer Anthony DiLeonardo shot and wounded Morahan without cause in a road rage incident. DiLeonardo had been drinking.
What?
Suffolk police had grounds to charge DiLeonardo with assault, criminal law experts said. Instead, Suffolk police wrongfully charged Morahan with assaulting DiLeonardo.
Look at that, the same old song and dance. They charge the victim of the crime, and not the perpetrator, not the criminal.
Wow.
It is insane.
Dude.
Internal Affairs Commander Caldarelli recommended charges against 2 sergeants in connection with the wrongful arrest. On a copy of Caldarelli's report, the chief of detectives scrawled, "Delete and out," next to evidence.
Look how bold they are. Delete and out, next to evidence, to take out of their report. That's how bold they are. This is what they do. Wake up, America. Wake up, residents of Suffolk County.
Caldarelli stood firm, but the commissioner filed no charges.
After the taxi cab case, I was basically told to change my findings on that, and I refused. That case was the absolute last straw. That was the one when I knew I was out of there.
Wow.
In Wyandanch in 2017, 2 Suffolk officers pulled over a car for no reported reason. They let the driver go, but arrested this young woman because of outstanding non-criminal warrants. Inside the first precinct, they shackled the woman to a metal table.
Unfortunately, that metal table looks all too familiar to me, as I was shackled to one that looks just like it for 7 hours after the police union president, the thug with a badge, Lou Civillo, unlawfully arrested me because he doesn't like that I expose thugs like him to the world.
In a holding area. Then, one of the officers, Christopher McCoy, took the woman to a small room and shut the door.
In whatever level of detail you're comfortable with.
The officer brought me back into what I now know is a juvenile holding area. There were no cameras. It was just a closed off area. It looked like a small office type of situation. And in there, he made me perform oral sex on him. My choice was to either put my life in danger and tell him no, or just to do it and live to tell somebody.
After footsteps passed the door, McCoy stopped and brought her back to the holding area. Later, McCoy and his partner, Mark Pav, returned the woman to the private room. Pav left her alone with McCoy, and McCoy assaulted her again.
And when he was done, he shoved a roll of tissue at me and told me to clean up and fix my hair.
The woman also retained McCoy's DNA on her sweater for proof.
I did, and I walked back and I sat back out in the holding area, and I had to act like everything was fine because I was surrounded.
Wow.
It was just very hurtful on another level because I couldn't chalk this up to being like, oh, this is this.
It's a police officer. Are you hearing me, Karen? Are you hearing me, Linda? Oh, but police officers, you guys need to stop it. They work so hard. They put their bodies in. They're so brave, and they're willing to face anybody to protect us. Blah, 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 blah. Well, what about all this, Karen? What about this, Lisa? Huh? Is this a good police officer? And we're not talking one. We're talking about a whole list of people here, just in different precincts, and in one city. And we all know that most of cities in America have problems because they totally forget where they come from. Plain and simple.
One guy, it
Not
was
there to
to
help
a point where it
people.
was like,
They're
no,
not
this is a
there.
system. Like, they're leaving this man alone in this room to
It's
do what
abuse.
he's doing to me.
Now, before we find out
power.
the punishment Officer McCoy received for his vile and disgusting criminal depraved behavior, I want you
Straight
to
up.
think to yourself, what would happen to any one of us that doesn't wear a badge? What would happen if we committed such a heinous crime against a young woman?
Yeah, we'd be in prison.
McCoy was sentenced to a year in federal prison after pleading guilty.
A year?
Only a year? This piece of shit only got a year in prison? Any one of us who committed such a despicable act would be behind bars for more than a decade. And decades if we did it to a law enforcement officer. Make no mistake, this is disgusting. This is not justice.
Oh, God.
Pav denies knowledge of what McCoy had done. but Suffolk police regulations required officers to observe the well-being of prisoners at least every half hour and to log their observations. Pav made 9 false entries in a log, some recording that he had observed the woman during the period when McCoy had assaulted her. The department missed the deadline to discipline Pav.
They also have to look at everyone that was on in the precinct in that shift. Everyone's walking past this room. This guy's in here with this woman by himself for an extended period of time, and he keeps bringing her back there. They're comfortable for a reason. This is a group effort. It's not just him that should have been disciplined.
For half a century in New York, a law known as 50A imposed near total secrecy on police disciplinary records. After the police murder of George Floyd, the state legislature repealed 50A. Lawmakers said all charges against police officers, substantiated and unsubstantiated, were open to public view. Still, the Nassau Police Department kept almost all records sealed. When documents were provided, they were often blacked out, almost to the point of being indecipherable.
This is exactly what the Suffolk County Police Department and the Nassau County Police Department, which is led by Police Commissioner Patrick Psycho Ryder, do. They will violate the open records law here in New York State and fight you with your own money in court for years to prevent you from receiving any sort of transparency. That is their MO.
The Suffolk Department released records only of substantiated charges, and only after delays as long as 18 months. Lawsuits that allege misconduct by Nassau and Suffolk officers gave Inside Internal Affairs reporters a start on building their case histories. The counties paid almost $15 million to settle those suits.
$15 million of my money, of your money, all of our money. Because Nassau County and Suffolk County receive federal dollars just like any other county. So it's all of our money that they waste on these despicable, vile thugs with badges instead of holding them accountable because they're a gang. I'll say it again. They are America's biggest gang. And you need to wake up, America, because we need to hold them accountable.
Those who were injured in the cases, their families, and the survivors of those who died suffered similar blockades in the search for answers. In the case of Joanna Bird, the family waited more than a decade for internal affairs answers.
When we ride past the cemetery, she would tell me that she was going to be there one day, very soon.
Mother of 2, Joanna Bird, was trapped in a relationship with Leonardo Valdez Cruz, an obsessed and violent gang member.
She would be hiding behind her car, or hiding in the bush, or hiding on the side of the house.
And he used to tase her and rape her and tell her how much he was going to kill her.
Once, Valdez Cruz kidnapped Bird at gunpoint, putting her in the trunk of his car.
And I saw strangle marks. And then she showed me her hip. All the skin here was ripped up.
Bird attempted to break free from her relationship with Valdez Cruz, also known as Pito. From jail, he sent letters describing exactly how he would murder her. Bird saved the letters as evidence to be used in the event of her death. Bird did what she was supposed to do. She got court orders barring Valdez Cruz from coming near her. He repeatedly ignored the orders. So did the police.
What? So I want to ask you all a question. The coward police union president here in Suffolk County, Lou Civillo, currently has a stay-away order protection against me for peacefully protesting his violence and his crimes with my 14-foot LED billboard truck. Now, if I violated that stay-away order protection, what do you think the Suffolk County Police Department would do in response to me violating that order protection? Nothing, like they did in this case?
And all the cops would ever say was, take a walk, Pito. Go take a walk. Get out of here.
Go take a walk, Sean. You know you're not supposed to be peacefully protesting our union president. Just go take a walk.
It's sickening, man.
He really was going to end up killing her, and the order protection wasn't going to stop it.
Sickening.
Valdez Cruz murdered Joanna Bird at her mother's house on March 19, 2009. He stabbed her more times than the medical examiner could count, killing her exactly as he had described in his letters. He was convicted and sentenced to life without parole. Nassau Internal Affairs investigated how police failed to protect Bird. Newsday sought the file, including through court actions. The department kept it secret for 12 years under 50A. Then, the Nassau District Attorney's Office gave the 781-page file to USA Today, saying the repeal of 50A mandated its release. USA Today partnered with Newsday. Each produced its own report. The file revealed that the department had charged 14 officers with misconduct. Newsday uncovered that the department docked the officers between 4 hours and 24 days of sick and vacation time. Among the most striking revelations, Detective Jeffrey Raymond maneuvered to have Cruz, who was working as an informant, released from custody 2 days before Valdez Cruz murdered Bird.
I just wanted to go home.
What?
So I was telling Raymond and the detectives who locked me up what they wanted to hear.
Raymond is the officer who lost only 4 hours of pay. He now commands the department's burglary squad.
Of course he does, because that's what happens when you engage in corruption and misconduct. You get promoted at the Suffolk County and Nassau County Police Department. That's exactly what happens. That's why Nassau County has a police commissioner who's been arrested for official misconduct, perjury, and police brutality.
Police were called every day. Every day, and all they did was tell them, buddy, take a walk and don't come back. I just don't think they did their job, and I think all of them should pay for it.
Former Commissioner Lawrence Mulvey told Newsday that he wanted to impose tougher discipline. But the Nassau PBA used political muscle and stopped him.
Of course they did, because that's what they do. The Suffolk County PBA, led by Lou Civillo, and the Nassau County PBA, they obstruct discipline against officers, using their political power, endorsements, door-knocking, campaign contributions to put pressure on the people who can hold them accountable.
The fact that nobody lost their jobs in this case, and that nobody was prosecuted in this case, shows how invalid the process is when you have the police investigating themselves.
Criminal justice experts reached similar conclusions after reviewing other Newsday case histories.
It is clear that these departments are not capable of properly investigating themselves. It's very hard to investigate people that you work side by side with on a day-to-day basis, whose houses you may go to, who you may go to happy hour with.
To require or ask a homicide detective to investigate people in their own department is a very difficult task.
Come on, Chai, think about it. You know, these guys are committing crimes. They're raping, shooting, you know, drunk drivings. I mean, choking people out for 8, 9 minutes. You know, they just don't care. And I'm going to tell you something. What needs to change is they need to take that qualified immunity away and tell them, listen, you guys now got to get your own insurance. No longer is the city going to, be providing this coverage anymore. You go out, they're going to create a way for police officers. Obviously, you got to get it passed, and this is the way it happens. They go get their insurance, and anytime they get in trouble, that insurance goes up. Or if they commit a certain crime, they can lose their insurance. And if they lose, and the insurance companies don't, if you've been in so many troubles so many other times, you can lose that insurance. And that means if you lose your insurance, that means you cannot be a police officer no more because you're no longer covered. But right now what happens is they commit crimes and they don't go to jail. And if some of them do go to jail, in some cases, I've seen some, things went great and they went to jail for, short amount of time, whatever the, cases, but we don't pay for their lawsuits anymore. Right now, they have no skin in the game. They commit a crime, we pay for their lawsuits. The city pays for their lawsuits. Nothing comes out of their pocket. Now, if they lose their qualified immunity, they can be sued, and I know that. But it's very hard. They have to commit crimes that take away your constitutional rights. And blah, 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 blah. Cops, there needs to bring change.
You know, the
telling
agents, the fact that they're both working for the same police department, they're both on the same side, I think is asking too much.
And that's why I'm a firm proponent of outside entities coming in to handle these types of investigations so that conflict of interest can be neutralized.
You know, if we could have the best of both worlds and have an outside agency investigating these things, but make sure that the outside agency has the resources, the expertise to handle it. That to me would be the best of both worlds.
Yeah, that's true.
I knew that the other driver had refused a field sobriety test. I just thought it was kind of, I just wondered, you know, if he was not impaired, then why would he refuse?
Security camera footage of the crash that severely injured 2-year-old Reardon Kavoris illuminates actions by both the off-duty officer who caused the crash and the police response, including a PBA representative driving the officer away from the scene to a hospital. There, the officer involved refused to submit to a breath test. Police did not seek a court order for a blood alcohol test, preventing the district attorney from determining whether he was intoxicated and should be charged with assault for injuring Reardon.
If the district attorney did not have the evidence to charge the officer for assault, then they should have charged every single PBA member with obstruction of justice.
Kevin gave me the information that the other driver was a police officer. It completely shifted
sad.
my entire narrative of the situation. And I felt like I had to
They back the blue until it happens to you.
Again.
The officer involved was David Mascarella.
Yep.
They gave the off-duty officer more benefits than he was entitled to.
No other individual would get the same type of deference that this officer got at that seat.
How the crash will affect Reardon's future worries his family.
It was basically an uneven skull fracture.
Kid, man.
So that part of it was depressed and pressing down on his brain. And they had to do emergency surgery to repair his skull and to check his brain and to make sure there wasn't any further damage.
Show me where mint ice cream is.
So, Chad, tell me this, man. If that was your kid, and then you find out your kid's being rushed to the hospital, and you look over and you see the driver, and someone whispers, "Hey, man, we just found out that guy's an off-duty police officer, but he's been drinking. He just came out of the bar." What would you do? And then see him get in a truck with another police officer and just drive away? I mean, it's sad, dude. That is so freaking sad that we live in a society right now that police can't even be held accountable when they injure or kill a citizen, man. It's a wrongful death. It's not even an accident. Accidents happen when both parties are just blasting through time, and it happens. The tire blows, and boom, you hit into. It's crazy, man.
Learn everything again. Every milestone that every new parent celebrates so much, when their baby's doing it 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, 12 months, 18 months. We went through all those. And then we were back to square one.
You gotta take it in your hand, Goof.
Oh, I'd be so upset, man.
Part of what's so scary now, we just don't know what the future will bring.
Oh, they're not gonna.
Very, very long-lasting effects of this that might affect
that cop. Guaranteed has moved on. He's probably been at the bar a few times already. Yeah,
it might affect ultimately life expectancy and the age he actually lives to, and what kind of a life he leads until then.
Yeah.
And we just don't know.
Yeah. Someone needs to pay that boy a little visit.
Suspended Mascarella without pay. A spokesperson for the department said they are moving to fire him.
Eventually we'll fire him. Not charge him with anything, but eventually we'll fire him.
But the Suffolk County Police have refused to provide internal affairs documents to either the Kavors family or to Newsday.
We know that there are things you'll never know. It's just the circumstance of the universe.
Not by the universe, but by the Suffolk County Police Department and the Suffolk County PBA.
It's also so hard in this case to know if there are things we should know. And they're being withheld from us.
Yep. Citizens
It's
are being
to move on
jacked
until
around by
we get
police
the answers
officers,
that some people have.
sergeants,
telling us.
sheriffs, law enforcement, the
I know
good
it's too late
guys.
for anybody to be held
They're the
truly
good guys.
accountable, or
They're the
at
good
least
guys.
acknowledge that there was wrongdoing and then try and fix, the policies.
I don't know the whole story. I guess I'll never know the whole story. The people that know the whole story, I hope you find out the whole story. I would really like to know.
The thing too that I think a lot of people don't realize, justice helps. Justice helps victims a
But
lot. I'm not working
we got the
anything
whole
is what
story.
I'm getting. That's what a lot of victims hear. That I'm not
They're
working anything when
victims
we don't get our justice.
from police. They're victims from police officers. Let's be real. These are victims. These are citizens that are victims that have been victimized, by police officers, have been wrongfully victimized, and police refuse to be held accountable. Police refuse to hold their constituents accountable, and their noses to the grind, to the floor, and to say, listen, you commit a crime, you do something, we are gonna come at you full force, and you will be convicted of whatever you're doing. And they're not doing that right now. They don't do that. They try to get them out of the way of answering to any type of accountability, even to the point financial, where they should be paying the price and hitting their insurance. They should be suffering just as much as that little baby or that woman or that young man that was shot dead because they're having a bad day, or they have so much anger inside of them about life. Police don't care. I'm going to end with this. I heard a police officer, and I have it on my channel, where he says he just pulled over Hell's Angels. If you look for the video, it says Hell's Angels, get pulled over by police, right? Two cops are talking. The cop says this, you know what? I'm so excited because I'm going to go through all their bags. I'm going to, forget these punks. They think they're bad. But they're talking together. They won't say in front of these guys. They got like 5 of them, 3 or 4 of them on their bikes pulled over waiting for their brother because he got a ticket. And the cop says this, you know what? He says, and if that big guy don't shut his mouth, he goes, I need a vacation anyways. So he goes like this, I'll pull the trigger because I need a vacation anyways. I'll shoot that dude. And the cop laughed, because you know what they do what happens, right? When they have a police shooting, they get sent home with paid vacation. And, he's under investigation right now. He's, sent home paid vacation until we find out, if charges are going to be charged, So when he confessed that all he's going to get out of it is a paid vacation if he pulls that trigger. That is a scary, scary confession by a police officer of like 12 years, 14 years plus. Says, I can use a vacation. So he better watch his mouth. I was like, what? Listen, chat, I believe in accountability. And I believe that with these videos, we can change policing. With these videos, I truly believe that we can change the world. One video